Pam, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me today, Keith.
I'm excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about SevenRooms, which helps hospitality operators run their business more effectively, but also at the same time, creating exceptional experiences for guests, which I know if I go to a restaurant and I have a personalized experience, it really is magical. So how is SevenRooms making this all happen?
Sure, yeah, and I'm glad that you know that you've interacted with SevenRooms. So SevenRooms is a technology company. We are, like you said, a guest experience and retention software platform. So we help hospitality operators, restaurants, create great guest experiences that ultimately should boost their profitability, their revenue, should drive repeat guest visits. And effectively, we help restaurants who are our customers make more money while providing a better experience than they might otherwise. And so the way that we do that is we help restaurants take and optimize reservations, bookings directly. So inbound reservations directly. We also help them, if they want to take reservations through non-direct channels, so maybe not directly on their own website. And we do that so restaurants don't need to pay as much in commissions effectively to fill their seats. And so you can think about that like revenue optimization or book optimization, book management, kind of like airlines manage their revenue. And our system also helps pace reservations, manage reservations. It also helps restaurants if they want to take prepayments at the time that somebody's booking a reservation for events, for guest experiences. And then our tool, like the goodness, is that we function as a CRM. So we want the hospitality owners to have their own data, their customer data, and be in control of their own customer data. So with that rich CRM data, from being, taking the reservations, knowing who somebody is, and being connected to the restaurant's point of sale system. We're not a point of sale. We connect to the point of sale. Restaurants can then use our marketing tools. We have marketing automation tools to follow up directly with guests, to invite them back, to invite them to events, to send them, a targeted promotion if we've seen that they haven't come for 30 days or 90 days. And so we can help restaurants take control of their own data, market to their customers, and essentially, effectively drive more revenue and profits.
Well, after a long career at HubSpot, what brought you to SevenRooms and what are you most excited about in terms of the company's future?
Yeah, sure. So after eight great years at HubSpot, running global financial planning and analysis there, I took the next step and I became the CFO at SevenRooms. So I've been here for about a year and a half. And just a little bit about why SevenRooms, and then I can talk about why I'm excited about it. SevenRooms just felt right to me after looking at different options. I found that SevenRooms felt like it was similar business model to what I had seen at HubSpot, and I could take that and add value. So SMB business model, somewhat similar ASPs, similar go-to-market. So I felt like I could take a lot of what I'd learned and add a lot of value to SevenRooms. So I felt comfortable with the business model and the go-to-market motions. Number two, SevenRooms felt like it was the right size or the right stage for me. The company was Series B, had product market fit, had invested a lot in a really great product, found product market fit, and pre-COVID had proven that the business model could work. The unit economics could work. So right size and kind of right stage for me. In addition, the company was mission driven, or a mission that I could really connect with, which I think is important for a lot of employees today, wanting to work at a company where you can really connect to the mission and feel like your company is doing something good in the world. So I felt like there was a mission I could connect to, a mission I could understand, and the company was still founder led. And so I really felt good about that. And then lastly, in terms of kind of the check boxes for me, was we had a really good mix of investors and kind of enough capital. So the company has kind of a good mix of board members that would help support me as a first-time CFO. So didn't want to get in somewhere over my skis. A good philosophy around growing, but not growing at all costs necessarily. And again, kind of a good capital position. So those were kind of the criteria for me of like, as a first-time CFO, a company I could connect with, a great product, a business model I was comfortable with, and a great executive team and board that would support me. And then just in terms of why I'm excited to be here, I mean, I think we're really feeling good. I know the market feels like for most industries is experiencing a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of uncertainty. But for us, some of the things that were headwinds during COVID, the industry has changed. And now our product, it really feels like we're at an inflection point where our product, our value proposition, is really, really well timed and well positioned to step on the gas and grow our go to market with what is already a best in class product. So I feel like it's a great time to be at SevenRooms.
So let's talk about the current stage of SevenRooms. What's the size in terms of number of employees and plans for growth ahead as it relates to hiring?
Yeah, sure. I think we just actually crossed over 200 full-time employees just a month or two ago. So we're just about 200 employees. And I think, size-wise and growth trajectory-wise, we're in a little bit of a different spot than maybe a lot of, I would say, like venture-backed or startup companies are right now in the market, where a lot are going through maybe a reevaluation period or a pullback after several years of frenetic hiring. So as a company, we were impacted by COVID, which had a large impact on restaurants. And so we did stay pretty flat, pull back, stay pretty flat or moderately flat from a headcount perspective, 2020 through 2021, due to the impact on our customer base. So we kind of managed through that period, tried to keep our customers afloat, gave offers to our customers to stay on the platform for a while without paying us. So kind of fee holidays to try to, keep our customers with us as long as we could, and then get to the other side of it. And so I would say we saw our unit economics, so our LTV to CAC, about a year ago, this time last year, really returned. And so we've now really been starting to grow the team again, started to see our revenue grow really strongly again. So while I would say, we're growing in all areas of the business, and we'll definitely continue to invest in the product and engineering functions to maintain kind of our best in class product. Really what the model is and our metrics are telling us right now is that it's time to lean in and ramp up the go-to-market. So our unit economics are good again. And so we're ramping up our go-to-market teams. And we've seen a lot of success, not only in North America, but we've actually seen a ton of success in the UK, certain parts of EMEA, and have strategically invested in Asia Pacific. So Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong. So we're hiring, I would say we're hiring across the board, pretty much all departments, but very specifically have started to ramp up our go-to-market teams globally, sales, customer success roles, as we've seen our metrics and our KPIs kind of really, really return to form, strong demand. As while we were impacted by COVID on the front end, some of what we're seeing coming out of COVID or the new normal is that people have a higher bar for guest experiences. People have a higher bar for going out to a restaurant. They want to have a great personalized guest experience. And let alone the industry is also really strapped by staffing, labor shortages. And so there's a few things that are going on with our industry that now provide SevenRooms with some tailwinds that we did not have 2 years ago. And so that is coinciding to kind of stepping on the gas a bit on our global go-to-market teams.
So in your opinion, what traits does the ideal SevenRooms employee embody?
It's actually a pretty well-timed question, because we've been going through a process internally to solidify our core values and the core attributes that we really celebrate and kind of not only try to hire for, but also kind of infuse into the organization the things that we celebrate. So I'll just give one or two examples, but one of them is ownership. Like, we are owners. We're all owners in this business. So what that means is that someone who has a bias for action, somebody who can take a ball and run with it. We're at that size right now where we're kind of between startup and scale up. So folks who are able to come in, take ownership of something, maybe it's a new process, maybe it's a new motion, able to take ownership of that, accountability, run with the project, and kind of figure it out, are super, super, super valuable. And then it's even better if those folks are able to kind of take ownership, solve a customer problem, figure out a project, and then if they're able to, it's even better if they're able to then successfully kind of document and complete the project, document and create a process so that, as we scale up, that thing is going to occur, hundreds of times again. And so people who can then, take ownership of a problem and then create a process in their wake, so that we can kind of effectively scale up and do those things. So I think we've gone through a core values exercise, again, just to kind of start to talk more about those types of traits that we really value in employees. But I do think it's a lot of the ones that, we're not pure startup anymore. So, startup, you typically hire kind of generalists that can tackle any problem and just figure anything out. We're at that stage where we're kind of between startup and scale up, where we're mixing in some specialization. And this is true even on my team, on the finance team, some data roles where you had kind of generalists before, but now it's time to have that mix of people who can, solve any problem and are generalists, but also there's some very specific roles as the company grows that require some specialization and some, direct experience.
Now, what about diversity, equity, and inclusion? Like, what is SevenRooms doing in terms of building or ensuring that there's a continued focus on building a strong and inclusive culture?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's really important to me, and it's really important to SevenRooms. So we've been doing a few things recently, and I think we just introduced a handful of ERGs, employee resource groups, this year, and they've really taken off at really great reception. And so, we have executive sponsors, and the ERGs are starting to kind of, make their own traditions with fireside chats and real meaningful work, so that we can make sure that our employee base is connecting, feeling comfortable, feeling like they can bring their whole selves to work. So I think that's been really awesome to see. I think the other part is, and a part where I'm, directly connected is kind of in gender diversity. And I'm really happy to say that, our leadership team, multiple females. I'm now don't have the stats right in front of me, but I'm, the CFO, our chief product officer is a woman. We have, kind of a diverse executive team, a diverse leadership team. I'm also really proud of our board of directors, which we do have, 2 women on our board, diversity on our board. And I mean, I think we've all seen the studies that just show, and again, HubSpot was a model in this with, I think, 3 or 4 women on the board, multiple women on the executive team, now a female chief executive officer, just diverse teams. I very, very much believe diverse teams will perform better. And, I'm a female at work, I'm a mom. I think showing ourselves, especially now where a lot of us are remote or hybrid, being able to share our lives and who we are and balance work and life is really important. And so I think SevenRooms is definitely trying to do the right things here, to hire a diverse employee base that looks like our customer base. And also, just because we believe that's how we're going to perform best as a business.
Now, there's lots of opportunities out there for people to explore, which is a good thing. So why is now the ideal time for someone to join SevenRooms?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. We're really at it, and I kind of talked about this before, but we're really at an inflection point right now. We were impacted by COVID. We've gotten our business model back on track post-COVID, and we're really starting to scale up now. And I think we can see, the industry is changing right in front of our eyes, based on even and the messages and the value add that our product's been bringing, what we've been espousing for years, allowing operators, restaurant operators, hospitality operators to take control of their business and their customer data to drive direct bookings, to drive more revenue and profit, to drive this great customer experience without necessarily needing to be really high touch or labor intensive. So I think there's some really, really great tailwinds right now that are happening coming out of COVID. The challenge that the industry is facing is really well aligned to the value proposition that SevenRooms really actually delivers for our customers. We can show them, the value that we've driven, the savings that we've driven to them is, the direct hard ROI is more than they are paying us in their subscription. And I think that that's really resonating. And so we're seeing that in, multiple regions globally. And so now is the time to kind of join as we start to scale up. We're opening up new markets. And so to get in now, I think it's a great time. It's a great time because of what's going on in the industry. But we're, a stable enough company, with sound, financials, enough capital to grow, that we're in a really good position.
Well, if you are interested in exploring opportunities at SevenRooms, you need to go to their company page on VentureFizz, which has all their job listings there. And as Pam mentioned, they are hiring very aggressively. Go to venturefizz.com/7rooms, and you'll see all their job listings there. Pam, thanks so much for taking the time to bring us up to speed on all the great things happening at the company.
Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate the time.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. At VentureFizz, our mission is to share the stories of companies, their people, and culture. If you're interested in more information about this company, click on the video in the pop-up. And to receive more great content from VentureFizz, please click on the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching.